I'm Paul Haverkamp. We were living in Creighton. We went to Mass. Father came out. Father Fitzgerald was his name. I'd like to come over and visit with you folks sometime if that was possible. So Marge said, well, would you want to come for supper? And, oh, sure, that'd be fine. So he came for supper, and we've had a nice long visit. And finally, he said, what do you folks think about tithing? And I kind of looked at him, and I said, with these 4 little kids, you think I got anything left? And he laughed, and he said, oh, he said, you'd be surprised. He said, the kids' shoes will wear longer. The little girls' dresses will wear longer, and you'd be surprised how you'll be able to get along. And I said, well, we'll talk about it. And sometime later, Marge said, well, maybe we ought to try that tithing and see what we can do. And I said, well, you're the one that takes care of the money, so I said, it's up to you, I guess. We'll try it. And so we started, and we talked about it'd be nice if we could buy our house. Our next door neighbor lady owned our house. One day I went over and talked to her, and I asked her if she'd be interested in selling her house. Oh, no. Later on, several months or better, and she said, Paul, are you still interested in buying your house? I said, if I can get a loan, I sure am. We got the loan. So we got the house bought. Well, Marge says, I think that has something to do with the tithing. Then we decided I knew how to cut the meat and do the grocery stuff too, and Marge did she did all the bookkeeping and running the front end and running the store. We thought, well, if we could run a store, then maybe we ought to try buying one. So this little store down in Plainview here came up for sale, and it was a very small store, but we wound up buying that. And within a month afterwards, the people that was in the theater right next door was cleaning, and that night the cleaning rags caught fire, and the fire jumped the firewall and came down into our store, and we burned out 1 month. So, insurance. What had happened during the fire with all the water coming down from the ceiling and that had 2 orange crates, grapefruit crates, that water had knocked them over onto the desk where Marge's books were at. Nothing happened to them. Never got burnt because of this. What happened? 2 young fellas that came talk to us about the insurance had a really astonishing look on their faces. But they looked them over. Anyway, they paid us for the loss of time, and we were out of time from 1st of February till about the middle of May. We were out of business. So we paid the help that was going to work for us. They got their weekly checks, and that really, really helped everything out. The big store that we always wanted. So we got it rented, and the fellow out of our warehouse helped us get started and told us how to do it, and he took us to Sioux City and bought our refrigeration and all that stuff. And so the middle of May, we had a grocery store with refrigeration in it and the whole ball of wax, and we had it for 25 years. Each time something happened, I felt that God had really helped us out. And this was the thing that just kept driving us and going and doing these different things. And we knew that was why we got what we got. We raised our kids up. I guess that's the only thing that I could ever connect it to was our tithing. And I think it'd be a good idea, this is coming from me, that everybody should do their tithing and give their 10%. And, nowadays 10% isn't very much. I think it should be considerably more. I think I've blabbered long enough.